Hello, my name is Herbert Plum. We have been facing for several months now an awful humanitarian crisis, and we continue to face a lot of uncertainty. And the impact of it is very different, not only industry by industry, but even within specific sectors. If you take media and entertainment, we're seeing tremendous growth, unbelievable demand surges on all things that include digital entertainment. Digital consumptions such as gaming, subscription-based video like Netflix and so on have seen tremendous surges in demand. But then we see location-based entertainment, and they face the worst crisis since the Second World War. They are nearly being decimated by the impact that social distancing has caused on their businesses. And so when we look at this crisis, we have to understand that the severity of it is so tremendous that a new normal is forging under the surface of what has been going on. For example, consumers are now much more prone to consume and interact with their companies in a digital way. And on the enterprise market, B2B customers, we see that virtualization has effectively become now the de facto enterprise architectures, as even the most conservative enterprise CTIO has to now concede that virtualized architectures, those that run through the cloud, in fact, are highly resilient and effective even in a time of crisis like this. So it's our belief that fortune will favor the bold. That is true by not backsliding. That is true when we think about 5G and investments into fiber, that infrastructure is in fact the backbone of the digital society going forward, and therefore we will see an acceleration of investments into infrastructure despite the current signals of spectrum auctions being deferred. We only view this as a temporary noise before we see an acceleration back on investments in infrastructure. Typically, consumers and enterprise customers are fairly reluctant in that they have habits, they have their preferences for certain products that they know, and to shift their habits and consumption patterns and the way they run their businesses is in fact very difficult to do. And companies see themselves forced to make the best of it. But this crisis has put many things into question. It was a massive global experiment to do new things and realize that in fact, new things and different things can be as good, if not better. And it's those executives that embrace this and find ways to deliver broadband differently, to tap into new forms of entertainment. It's those companies and those executives that stand the chance to thrive and embrace the new normal and do great things for our society going forward, as well as their shareholders and their employees.